Howdy, folks. Alright, before our challenge event disappears, I figured I'd go over a few of the heroes. I did a video when this challenge event first came out, just kind of going over some of the specials and that was quite a few years ago now. I don't recall doing a video when they released Ramhorn, Nausea, and Roscoe, so I thought I'd just briefly review them. Now, this guy here is our hero of the month, and for some reason I've ended up with two. I don't know how. That's pretty crazy. I know I have duplicates of Jocasta and Minimoto as well, but that only happened because they offered those first 5 heroes, I think 4 times each. Like it was over a year before they built more heroes of the month and then started rotating them around. So yeah, kind of weird to end up with 2 of him. But the system gives me blue and purple the most, those 2 colors. So if you're ever short on a color, that's the way it is for everyone. Because I don't really get that many reds or yellows. Yeah, I don't even have enough ghillie suits for this guy, so it's gonna be a while, I think, there. But let's take a look at what he can do. So, Elite Laser Trooper. I think this is a pretty decent special, and the fact that he's fast just helps it, because that's good damage on all enemies. And then he also does a bit of armor busting, so that's good. All enemies get minus 16 dodge for 3 turns. That's nice, because that counters some of them that are out there that give themselves dodge. There's Talon that does dodge for the whole team. There's all the dodge weapons, so that's very effective for offense. And I believe Emma's suit, she gives herself a dodge now instead of the defense is up. I believe it is. Just trying to go on memory here, but yeah, that's effective. That's really good. All allies get plus 16 dodge for 3 turns, so that's like Talon. You can kind of negate her dodge and then put it up for the whole team. So the caster resists charge effects for 3 turns. So Eiko wouldn't be effective against him. At least that part of the special. She would still do damage, but not give him, or the charge stealing wouldn't be effective. So I suppose that would be the same for somebody like Chull as well. So all around, that seems pretty good. The stats are alright as well. Health kind of looks a little low, and he's assault class. Being 58, I don't think the speed node wouldn't do much for him. I think the next breakpoint is 63, if I recall correctly. So all around, though, looks like a decent hero of the month. This is a good special, but it does look pretty balanced as well. So I suppose that's why his health would be a little bit lower. So if you want survivability when you do emblems, I would pick defense and health. I'd still probably myself put a bit of attack on him, because I like to go attacking defenses mostly with attacking heroes. So there's enough purples that you could have a decent one for your defense, like if you had Unicorn or Hypernova or something like that. And Talon's kind of made for defensive teams too. I don't think I'd put him on defense personally, but it looks like a great offensive hero. So, okay, this, yeah, this is not a great weapon. This is one of the probably worst weapons of the month, personally. Monster variant Draculov. Okay, that's fantastic. But I gotta say, a lot of the vanilla blue weapons do better. So that's not a bad defensive stat. 110 health. I think that's about the same as some of the vanilla weapons, though. And then you get the armor piercing. Yes, armor piercings come into, like, armors come into play a lot more. But let's just take a look. Let's compare it to some of these weapons. So 85 health. But why would you put this weapon or the Wyvern, or however you say that, on defense if you have this, which I haven't got it totally leveled up yet? Oh, actually, do I have the dodge weapon here? I don't have the chili suit in this account. So the chili suit dodges. Like, why wouldn't you want that one? And then there's this one for offense, where you've got the speed. And this 8 speed points helps a lot of the blues. And I actually think it's 9 by the time I get it leveled up. I'm a little bit away from that. And this one's going to do armor damage. So I don't even know how I did this in 1 month. It's really weird. I did get one, and all I did was favor it. I'm not planning on touching it. I think it might end up being a sacrifice at some point, to be quite honest. Especially when I have 2 of the saws here and then the 2 regalizers. And I keep running a weaponsmith 10, so I'm going to end up likely with a chili suit at some point. So, and then I have the regular Draculov, which is 19% critical chance. So why wouldn't I use that on offense? So unfortunately, I don't know, they kind of missed the ball with some of these weapons of the month. Like, if this had speed built into it, or some of the master weapons properties where you could target through accuracy or that sort of thing, probably would be a great weapon to level up. But they really didn't give much of those options in weapons of the month and just kept that to the master weapons. And I don't know, they could expand on this quite a bit, but it is what it is. So unfortunately, I don't think it's that great. If it's your very first blue 5-star weapon, though, you're gonna want to level it up, I'm sure. But otherwise, it's just kind of blasé, to be quite honest. Okay, so let's get into these specials. Now, I do have all of these ones except for Wolf and Nausea, so I'll just go over them briefly, because I do have, like, Foxtrot done in a closer look video. Since I have her in the closer look, I will link that to this video. And the other ones I will do closer look videos for at some point too. It's just kind of slow going on that. You have to do this adulting thing where you go to work and that. Kind of sucks, but whatever. When I do get time, I still like doing the videos for this. So, all right. So 42, he is slow, but he only needs to go to 43 to drop a tile. And so any of the purple speed weapons, of course, will help with that. And what is the next breakpoint is 50. So he has the potential to drop 2 tiles with an 8-point speed weapon. So that's really good, because he doesn't the 180 damage to all enemies is kind of eh. But having him drop 2 tiles so he's functionally faster on offense, like, yeah, for sure. And then with that speeding up, he's going to be able to hit a little bit more, right? Destroys all minions from target enemies, so kind of designed as a counter to Nima, that's for sure. And he gets a Rhino minion. The 25 HP is really good. Pretty high. The 14 attack is pretty standard. I think for the health minion anyway, I think the only one that beats him might be Donnie and Duke. That dog minion, that's really high at 30 and 30. I think it's the highest in the game. I think one of my teammates said that to me too, so pretty sure it is. But if anybody can think of any other one, yeah, please feel free to comment. So that's really kind of where he shines, is taking him against a Nima tank or maybe even Talon. You don't see her too much though, but yeah, it's really good that they built that in there. And then he adds 185 armor for all allies, so there's survivability. His defenses are quite high, which is good. There's survivability there too. And if you combine him with a decent healer, like, the armor just adds to the healing too. And I combine him quite a bit for wars and that sort of thing. So, and he's good for Monster Island, oddly enough, of course, because building up armor plus he hits. So lots of uses for him that I've found anyway. Alright, so Wolf. I don't have this guy. He seems decent on his stats though, but the 36 slow is really gonna hurt him. So the only speed weapon there is in green, because SG just does not seem to like the color green, is the Relic Hunter Bargo. So he needs to get to 43, and that is only a 6-point speed weapon, oddly enough, even though it's a 5-star. And that will just get him to the 43. So he'll drop a tile. I don't know though, like, people are gonna generally favor, I would think, your hoppers and your mortises over this guy. So 235 damage to the target and nearby enemies, that's really not bad. And again, he busts a bit of armor. The target and nearby enemies receive the bleed. And then you could also get the bleed from this as well. Sorry, it's not the bleed, it's the charge stealing. So that's kind of a double whammy if they both go off. And you could always stack that up, because I believe there is one bleed master weapon. That's a green. Can't recall just quite offhand, but yeah. So, I mean, he's got some uses, I'm sure, but if the target already has this effect, the duration will be refreshed. Well, there you go. So, yeah, don't hit the same target. But up to 375 damage in total. That's not bad. So I suppose if you combined him with another Savage Crew family member too, you're going to get the extra attack as well. Yeah, I just don't think you'll see him very much. Even when he came out like 4 years ago, since this was the first challenge event, you don't see him a lot, and I can't see that changing unless they changed his speed or something like that. Okay, Pantera, a silent persuader. Now this is quite a hit actually. But look at his stats. Yeah, he's got a high attack stat, but dude, the defenses and and the health are just awful. But again, that happens with a lot of the really good snipers that do a lot of good damage. And I suppose, again, that's a balancing out point. So 290 damage to the target, 70% damage against armor. So that's good. The target receives plus 30 damage for 3 turns when hit by a stronger element. Removes buffs from all enemies. So that's awesome that he is one of the few buff dispellers that covers the whole team. So that's just great. That's one reason why I really like him. Now, the target receives the plus 30 damage for 3 turns when hit by a stronger element can be very devastating as well. So if you get a Nema tank, let's say, you hit with him, and then you're able to hit with a purple like Umbra, that's absolutely devastating because it's going to take into account that extra 30% damage. So he's kind of a niche hero as well. In some ways, he is not built to be a defensive hero at all. He's really not. That's why you never see him on defense. Even if you put the emblems on him, like he's still a glass cannon. So speed weapon though, to get him to 58, he'll drop another tile and hit even quicker. So you definitely need to combine him with some heroes that are gonna buff him up with healing and armor if you can. So he's quite useful though. I still use him on my War Machine team to this day. All right, Foxtrot. I still think she's one of the best 4-stars in the game. Fun hero. A really fun hero. I've liked her right from the start. A reckless thrill seeker. She's pretty well balanced, which is a great thing. She's definitely deserving of emblems. A 4-star that's definitely deserving of them. Got her maxed out in her special, the whole bit. Speed weapon, of course, we'll get her to 58. That will help on offense. She can play defense as well, so there's that. Use her a lot in tourneys, both on defense and offense, so it's awesome. Used her quite a bit too for this challenge event. 275 damage to the target and nearby enemies, which is great. Great damage. That is good. It's a good hit. And then, of course, the extra armor damage, which is great. And then the bleed. The target and nearby enemies receive 264 damage over 4 turns. You could always combine that with the... Is it the purple one or the blue does poison? The blue master weapon. So the buffalo, I think, is the bleed. So if you got a purple hero on the team with her and you do the bleed, that's gonna stack. So that's pretty cool as well. But yeah, lots of options with her. She's a fun one. All right, Night Owl, don't have you either, but you like to cheer just before you hit everybody. Woohoo! It's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I still laugh about that. She seems pretty well balanced too, though, but there's lots of variety in purples where you're gonna see Hypernova or Unicorn or even Redhead on defenses before you see this lady. All right, so she's fast, which is awesome. And is it 68? So speed weapon's gonna help her. Is it 63 and 68? Where there's breakpoints. I can't remember just offhand, but I do believe a speed weapon will help her. And what's her special? Claws of the Owl. Yeah, that makes sense with the picture. I don't know. I can't say as I ever noticed that was claws before this. That's pretty sad. 220 damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. So not a bad hit for a AoE hitter that covers 3. 70% damage against armor, so that's good as well. The target and nearby enemies receive 270 bleed damage over 3 turns. That's good as well. And again, you could combine that with the buffalo. If a target already has this effect, of course it's going to replace it and it won't stack, but that's okay. And up to 375 in damage total, so that's good as well. Yeah, I mean, she's solid, just like a few of them are, just like Ramhorn, just like Foxtrot there. So I suppose a lot of people probably use her on offense more than anything, though. We did used to see her on defense quite a bit at first, but then as other purples came out, she was replaced. So okay, for a 3-star, this guy is not bad. Not bad at all. So I do have him leveled up. I don't think I've put emblems on him, but the special is pretty good. So there's no 3-star purple speed weapons. So of course, if you're in a tourney or a challenge event, you aren't going to be able to put a speed weapon on him. But if you're using him for other things, you can put a speed weapon on him, and he'd hit 58. I think he'd hit the next breakpoint as well. So yeah, pretty good there. That he is definitely functionally faster. Good defenses. Attack isn't the greatest to me. But the 165 to all enemies is awesome. And then there's the bleed damage, kind of like Foxtrot does too over the 3 turns. I don't know. He's pretty handy. He's become a bigger part of my purple stacks for 3 stars. Because like some of the 3-star vanillas are just not up to par. So if you get this guy, he's definitely worth leveling. And then I suppose Warfighter class where he can revive too is just another bonus. So he's decent. I like him anyway, that's for sure. All right. GG. Grizzly GG. So his attack's pretty low. And then you got a slow hero as well. Doesn't make for a great combination, right? I do have them leveled. I haven't put emblems on them because I think there's other yellows that deserve it more, like 8-bit. Personally, I like Echo 2 with the charge stealing, and then I landed the variant suit, and that makes Echo a little bit better even, right? Because her stats and stuff go up as well. And this guy just kind of, yeah, gets put on the back burner, I think, in a lot of situations. He does have synergy though with some heroes like 8-bit, where 8-bit's gonna hit everybody and put defenses down to yellow, and then this guy comes along and hits. So pretty decent. But still being slow. Now a speed weapon will help him, of course. Hit 43. You need the 7 points there, is it? Yeah, so I might have said that wrong on Wolf's special. I gotta go back there. Yeah. That's the 6-point speed weapon doesn't even help him. My bad on that. I'm glad I caught that. So, ugh, that kind of makes Wolf even worse. And I couldn't add momentarily there when I was talking about Wolf, I guess. That's very unfortunate. But he will be helped because it's 7 points on it's not the Tigger, but the yellow version of that, the Triss. So, then of course the Ragnarok has 9 speed points on it. So, yeah, this guy does get helped, whereas Wolf doesn't. It's good that he hits all enemies, but it's also not a lot of damage either. And the bleed, so that is good to have, and it's over 4 turns. But he's so slow to go off, if he doesn't get a chance to hit, that all goes to hell. And the caster heals 54% of dealt normal damage for 4 turns. So that actually isn't bad either, but again, you you gotta get the guy charged up to go off first. So yeah, if you are using him regularly, especially in offense, I don't think he's really made for defense personally, but yeah, you definitely want a speed weapon on him to give him a chance to go off. Or a good healer to hold him up for a little while until he gets a chance to charge. So okay, and I believe that covers everyone except our red. Nausea, Crimson Cobra. All right, so Ferocious Fangs. I like that she uses twin size though. Those are cool. Those are pretty cool weapons, I gotta say. All right, so 75, she's very fast. Where I don't even know where this speed chart breakpoint is that high because you don't see like just she's got to be one of the fastest charging heroes in the game. You don't see it very high like that. That's a bit nuts actually. But it does go up to 90, is it or something? I just don't know the breakpoints, so that high. Yeah, just don't deal with it, so it's not really in my memory. 160 damage to the target. If the target has any negative status ailments, the caster steals 15% health and 15% charge from the target. Well, isn't that nice? So if you do a family stack and say they have Pantera's stronger color negative status ailment, she's gonna steal health and charge from the target. That's a nice little buff she gives herself there. And it's capped at 300. Still, that has the potential to wipe out the hero too, depending on where their health was before she hit too, right? So I suppose that would be for the bleed that applies through Foxtrot too. If you're taking in a red stack, that's a negative status ailment. So, and then she puts her own bleed on it as well over 4 turns. That's pretty crazy. I haven't saw her a whole lot, but when I have saw her, let me tell you, she's an annoying wing. Very annoying wing to try and get rid of. But that's what you want. You want fast snipers on the wings if you got them. And yep, this one can cover that. That's a pretty high attack stat. But again, you got the lower health and the lower defenses. So if you were to put emblems on her, you might want to shore up those two. That's a nice attack stat though. But yeah, whenever I have faced her and she's happened to be on the wing, oh gosh, drive me insane. So any of you that have her, there's a pro tip for if you need to use her on defense, put her on the damn wing and annoy the crap out of the attacker. All right, so that's it for those guys. And I'll do another video where I cover the spring seasonal heroes. Especially, yeah, since these are the first ones that are event heroes that have come out with variants. So we'll take a look at those in another video. Alrighty, thanks folks. Take care.